Parrot Xtra on radio, you could on radio, and our guest is here. My name is Olayinka Agbola, and our guest name is Checking Fipama Bikin Sariso, Odu'a Kubu, Mr. Parrot. Àlejò wa ò dàgbà o, àmọ́ ń dárúkọ àwọn tán jọ wá tí n bá ti ṣe official introduction wọn ní ìsìn ní ìṣẹ́jú àáyá. So dear listener, kindly allow us to introduce our distinguished guest in this powerful show by the grace of God. Today, our guest is Mr. Adewale Raji, and is the Health Group Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer of Odu'a Investment Company Limited. He was first appointed into the position for a term of 5 years on the 1st of June, year 2014, and later he got his appointment renewed for a second term in June 2019, following performance evaluation by top tier Big Four, we call them Big Four, advisory services and ratification by shareholders. Mr. Raji, he loves to be called Mr. I will still ask him that question later, because if somebody in Nigeria is the tradition is once at a certain position, you want to add that suffix to your name, professor or chief or high chief or doctor, honorary. But we give God all the glory. So Mr. Raji has a track record of exceeding set targets and growing bottom line while spearheading operational improvements to drive business profitability and cost optimization. Some of his key achievements as GMD CEO of Odu'a include returning the company to high profitability through strategic and efficient restructuring. Well, we can go on and on and on. We'll be here all day because it's we are well. You may want to call it. We read book in CV one. Ọlọ́run àdéjẹ kan pẹ́ fún wa. Àlejò wa ti wà ní kálẹ̀ bí mo ṣe sọ. Ẹ mà káàbọ̀ sórí ètò yìí o. Àti Yorùbá àti Èbó láti mọ̀ bó bá ṣe bí mi sí bá ṣe wà ní sà láti máa fi gbé jókòó. Ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò yìí.
Ẹ ṣé púpọ̀ gan-an lóòtú.
Dáa tó burú. Ẹ káàbọ̀. Àwọn nìkan kan náà wà o. Ọ̀gá wa náà wà níbí, Mr. Victor Ayetoro, Head Branding and Communication Odu'a Investment Company. Àwọn náà wà níkàlẹ̀ àti kọ́pà. Mo ní ẹ má jẹ́ sọ lórí ìkéde o. Mo ń wò yìí bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe ẹ bá mi Wálé Ọláwálé Awẹ́ bá ń ya fọ́tò wọn wọ́n ṣe wa. Kò ṣe mo dúpẹ́. Bàbá ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò yìí o. Inú wa dùn. Because I will just, it's our tradition, we must thank you profusely for taking time out of no time to be on this show with us. On behalf of management of Splash 105.5 FM and staff, we welcome you to White House, Felede Ibadan.
Thank you for having me.
So, how easy is it to running Odu'a conglomerate? It's not, and you still look, because the last time I saw you, you were just bouncing. I said, with all the load this man is carrying, see the way he's bouncing. How easy is it?
Thank you very much.
Mr. Parrot,
Chief Executive of Parrot Media. How easy is it to run the affairs of Odu'a? I would say fundamentally 3 legs.
Okay.
Probably the most fundamental is our Creator.
Yes.
Living by His grace that gives one the opportunity to be in the role. And of course, with that, if you get onto a role like this, and you have the signing of our Creator God, then it gives you what you use to be able to cope with it. In addition to it, also is that there are other complementary things you need to run a business organization. A very competent board and management are very important. And once you have that kind of support and you have shared vision,
okay,
you know, shareholders, the board and management, you have a shared vision, okay, then it simplifies your journey. It remains tough, and it will remain tough. That's why it's called business.
That's why it's called business. Okay, bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe sọ̀rọ̀ yẹn ló tún wá jẹ́ kí ẹjọ́ tún wá padà sílé ẹ̀ má bínú. Ṣé àbá ní ẹ̀rọ gẹ́mi ti níwọ̀nba tó yẹ tèmi mọ̀ àti research mo ṣe mo ti ṣàlàyé yín díẹ̀. Ẹnu oníkan náà ti ń gbọ̀pọ̀n. Mo fẹ́ ta ni báwo lè ṣe fẹ́ ṣàlàyé ara yín? Who is Adewale Raji? that is always calling himself Mr. instead of him to be called Chief and CEO, Kiniko. Who is Mr. Adewale Raji?
Thank you very much. Adewale Raji is a very simple, very modest Nigerian of Nigerian parentage.
Okay.
I had the privilege of what you can call public education in Nigeria, up to university level.
Okay.
First degree, which I had in history, and subsequently higher education at the level of MBA in marketing.
Okay.
And in the course of my exposure in life, working life, particularly in the private sector, I've had the privilege of also having continued business education from outside the shores of Nigeria. I had the opportunity of getting trained both at Cranfield University and also Manchester Business School. So that complemented what we were doing, working for a multinational company in Nigeria, Pizza Cousins, and subsequently, by the grace of God, as ordained by God, I found my way being recruited to run Odu'a Investment.
You found your way being recruited to run Odu'a Investment. Thank you very much. So we need to go on this short break, and when we come back, we are still going to be talking about the business of Odu'a Investment Limited. After this time out, my name is still Odu'a. The program is Parrot, Xtra on Radio. On Radio. Don't go anywhere. Thank you for staying tuned. I'll be right back. You're welcome back to the show. The program is still Parrot Xtra on Radio. On Radio, and my name is Odu'a, and my guest is seated here. People are already calling me that name. I think my guest is powerfully seated because we don't just bring in anybody. We are not arrogant, but we are proud of what God is doing through us in this business of broadcasting. We give him all the glory. Yes, you were talking about yourself the other time, and I said we'll move on to something else when we return from a short break. We have been following your achievements since you became the GMD of Odu'a in 2014, and you have done a lot. God has been doing a lot through you. Maybe I should put it that way.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah, you decided to stay in the background as a silent achiever. What is this strategy all about? Òjòrò wo ló wà bẹ́sà? Àti ìbọn àti Yorùbá ní káwọn èèyàn wa tó ń gbọ́ wa ń gbòòrò náà kán lè gbọ́ nǹkan tẹ́ ń sọ pé àwọn tó rí Ọlọ́run fi sí Oòduà ni wọ́n ń sọ̀rọ̀ yìí o. Àbí Cocoa House náà ní ọ́fíìsì wa. Ọ̀yá mú bọ́sà.
Thank you very much for the question. Let me say, you know, the foundation for Odu'a is in what we call Western Nigerian Development Corporation.
Yes, sir.
Which we know was the harbinger of economic development to the whole Western region. So, I mean, Western Nigeria Development Corporation created the Ikeja Industrial Estate, the first industrial estate in Nigeria, for that matter, well laid out, and industries were attracted from across the world there. So, for the people of the Southwest, and particularly courtesy of our ownership, there are usually very huge expectations from both shareholders and stakeholders alike about Odu'a investment. People see it within the context of what WNDC did in those days. So those are the expectations. So there's plenty to do. And in doing this, there are basically three legs in running a company. Three important legs that must be cohabiting together, collaborating, to making sure that
and blending
and making sure that the direction and the focus and the vision of the company is translated to reality. You have the shareholders. In our situation, the 6 South state governments of Nigeria. You have the board.
Yes.
And then of course you have the management. And with management and staff, so say management and staff. So for what we have been in the past and what our shareholders and stakeholders expect us to be, and I can pick from the mandate of our shareholders, you know, in terms of the summarizing the expectation. For our shareholders who are the governors of the Southwest states, they expect Odu'a investment to be the engine room for the economic development of the Southwest. So that is the task that we're giving. And frankly, in doing this task, it requires enormous work, collaboration, reaching out to stakeholders within and outside Nigeria.
So it's not an opportunity for anybody to be gallivanting or
There is so much to do, and also the alignment of these three entities to make sure that you are sensitive to their expectations and you are striving all the time to meet these expectations. In so doing, it is important that you have the manpower, which is the people, talent that are capable of doing this. So when you talk about talent, you're talking about people who can compete with any other
capable hands
elsewhere and any sector. So what this means is that for Odu'a, we need to continuously be investing in people in terms of talent incubation, in terms of attracting talent, retaining talent, and also making sure we encourage them.
Making sure you encourage them. But Odu'a Investments last AGM marked the 8th consecutive year the company has been declaring and paying dividends to shareholders. Well, what's the magic behind this? It used to be like this in those days. Well, my mother know me. What would I read that thing?
Well, let me confess that in hiring me, I was hired from the private sector.
Okay.
And there's only one reason why I was considered for the job. They expected that the way
there should be a change.
The way it is done in the private sector, where the essence of a business is delivering value and returns to its shareholders
and equity too,
and stakeholders alike. So that's what I was hired for. I don't have any other job other than to make sure that stakeholders and shareholders are happy with our performance. And one way of demonstrating that you are a thriving business and you are living up to this expectation is that you must continuously be on a path of sustainable profitability. Growth must be sustained, profitability has to be sustained. And in so doing, shareholders and stakeholders all do expect a share from your success. So paying dividend is a standard routine.
Okay.
It's a norm in the private sector. You don't do
so
it,
it should be.
You are inviting trouble.
It should be too. In Odu'a too.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And one of the things that it helps you to do is this. If you meet that expectation of shareholders and stakeholders alike, you will automatically get their support for whatever program or whatever support you require from them, because you have motivated them, and all they know is that
you
they
have
support.
built the trust.
If they build the trust, and if they know that if they support you, you end up even giving more. I mean, we started with 167 million as the first dividend that we paid, but we've trended to the last time in June we paid 480 million naira, and we have physically paid them.
You have basically paid them, everybody. Thank God. Is that why you had the temerity to now say you want to start something they call I read it somewhere that you call it Odu'a Foundation? When is it taking off? And what is the foundation all about? Because they said when there's money now you can stretch.
In the previous explanation I gave, I talked about stakeholders and shareholders.
Okay.
The fundamental thing is that there are many segments that are interested in the life of a business, especially when it does well. Employees inclusive, they expect better packages, condition of service, and what have you. Government is expecting tax. When you do well, they're expecting higher tax. So those are all stakeholders in a business. So in essence, when you start thriving, you then have to look at the community where you're operating from.
Okay.
And if you look at our ownership, owned by the 6 Southwest states, we have to look for ways through which we can give support to good causes in society. Now, Odu'a Foundation is conceived by the board and already approved by the board and the shareholders.
Already?
Yes, already approved. And of course, we've also agreed that we are going to fund it. The board was very magnanimous on making sure that they can have sustainable funding for it by making sure that it's tied to our profit after tax. It's a percentage of our profit after tax that we're going to use to fund it. And that's why the company also must do well, because if you do well, then what you are contributing to the foundation also will be growing, because it's a percentage of our profit after tax. Now, the focus for them will be health, education, and youth empowerment.
Health, education,
and youth empowerment.
What of security?
No. security, the core responsibility of security is for everybody.
Yes, one.
But fundamentally, it sits with government.
Okay.
And where every other segment of society contribute to it is in the social impact they have.
Okay.
So if Odu'a as a group continues to multiply in business footprints, you are then creating job opportunities.
Okay.
Is engaging hands that helps you to improve security.
Okay, that's true.
And also from the money that government realizes as taxes from all business collectively, they are also funding security.
They are also funding security. Well, I still want to ask you something about security, but when we come back from this very short break, I will ask. Our guest has been Mr. Adewale Raji, Chief Executive Officer of Odu'a Investment. The program is still Parrot Xtra Hour on Radio, Ayikota on Radio. We'll be right back after this very, very short break. Ẹ má lọ bí kankan, èdè Yorùbá láfi sọ̀rọ̀ jù tá a bá ń bọ̀, mo promise yín, tá a bá padà àlè sí èbò púpọ̀, ẹ ṣe ìgbòdúpẹ́, à ń bọ̀. Ẹ̀yin èèyàn wa, ẹ káàbọ̀ padà sórí ètò wa, ètò yín, Ayikota lórí rédíò, bá a ṣe pè náà nù. Àlejò wa ti wà ń kalẹ̀, bó ti ṣe ìlérí pé tá a bá ti padà dé a sọ Yorùbá níwọ̀nba tó lápẹẹrẹ. Àmọ́ àwọn nǹkan kan wà tá a fẹ́ bí wọ́n tẹ́ pé àti sọ Yorùbá ẹ̀ gan tó wọ́n lè má lè ṣàlàyé ẹ̀ dáadáa. Àwọn kọ́ èmi ni wéyé mi lè sí ní mo fẹ́ bí wọ́n pé bí ẹni tí wọ́n fi sí igun pé kán máa ní Odu'a nílẹ̀ Yorùbá. Odu'a tá à ń sọ yìí o, Lagos state wà ń bẹ o, Ọ̀ṣun state, Ondo state, Ogun state, Ọ̀yọ́ state tiwantiwa yìí àti Èkìtì náà wà ní Odu'a investment tá à ń sọ yìí. Ilẹ̀ tiwantiwa sì ní gbogbo nǹkan tí wọ́n ń ṣe ń bẹ̀. Wọ́n sì ń ṣe pẹ̀lú orí pípé. Wọ́n ń kọ́lé fáwọn aráàlú láti gbé nǹkan ọ̀gbìn, equipment tó fi ń katakata gankan. Wọ́n tún ń lease ẹ̀ náà fáwọn àbí wọ́n tún fáwọn èèyàn. Wọ́n tún ṣe hotel, àwọn náà ní hotel, Premier hotel náà ní kíníkan hotel káàkiri Lagos airport hotel náà ń ṣe. Gbogbo bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe wá ń ṣe yìí, ẹ tún tún gba ká tún wá tùsà epo bẹntiró ní ilé ńlẹ̀, ẹ tún ṣe gba gbogbo àṣẹ ìyún náà ní ìsìn ni. Àmọ́ ṣé iṣẹ́ tẹ́ ń fáwọn èèyàn wa bó ni gbogbo ilé ìṣe máa tún tí ó tún ṣe pé jẹ́ pé iṣẹ́ ó tún pọ̀ yanturu fáwọn ọmọ wa kéékèèké tó ń bọ̀ lẹ́yìn àtàwa kan náà nílẹ̀ Yorùbá.
Ẹ ṣe pọ̀ gan. Ṣe rí, mo sọ pé iléeṣẹ́ okòwò ní iléeṣẹ́ Odu'a. A dẹ̀ ti sọ àwọn tí wọ́n ní àwọn ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ mẹ́fẹ̀ẹ̀fà.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, a sọ.
Ṣùgbọ́n èyí tó jù bẹ́ẹ̀ tí gbogbo wa láti wọ̀n ni pé à ń sọ pé ìjọba ló ní, bẹ̀tà àwa ọmọ Yorùbá àwa la ní.
Àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá la ní.
Àwọn ìjọba ni wọ́n ṣe jẹ́ aṣojú fún gbogbo wa ń bẹ̀. Ṣé wá rí ìlọsíwájú iléeṣẹ́ yẹn, ó jẹ àwọn tó ní iléeṣẹ́ lójú, ó jẹ wọ́n lógún. Òun ló jẹ́ pé nípa yíyan àwọn èèyàn sí ipò alákòóso board aláti kí àwọn gómìnà wa pé àwọn èèyàn tí ó múnádóko, àwọn èèyàn tí wọ́n múnádóko
ni wọ́n taari síwájú
ní board tí wọ́n yàn ní May 2020. Àwọn tó yẹ pé wọ́n ti ní ipa tí wọ́n ti ṣe dáadáa nílé iṣẹ́ àdáni tẹ́tẹ́
tó yé
àwọn ni wọ́n gbé wá síbẹ̀. Èyí tí àwọn olóyìnbó ń pè ní kí wọ́n sọ pé square hole in square peg. So àwọn gómìnà wa ṣe ìyẹn ni wá dẹ̀dùn sí. Pẹ̀lú àjọ bọ́ọ̀dì àti management nǹkan, àwa ń gbárùkù tì bí a ṣe máa jẹ́ kí iléeṣẹ́ yẹn kó lárugẹ. A ní àwọn iléeṣẹ́ tá ti ń ṣe ètò lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́, àwọn tó ń ṣe dáadáa àtàwọn tí ò ṣe dáadáa. A dẹ̀ tún ní àwọn míì tó yẹ pàṣẹ ń fi ojú sí pàṣẹ fẹ́ ṣe. Ṣe rí nínú àwọn tó yẹ pé ṣíṣe dáadáa wọn ó yẹ kí ó tún gbé ẹsẹ̀ sókè sí, òun ni ti ètò iléeṣẹ́ hòtẹ́ẹ̀lì. Ní hòtẹ́ẹ̀lì, àtàbàdẹ̀ sọ hòtẹ́ẹ̀lì, nǹkan tá à ń sọ ni pé kó jẹ́ pé ipò tí àwọn hòtẹ́ẹ̀lì wa máa wà, wọ́n á lè figagbága pẹ̀lú ẹlẹgbẹ́ wọn kankan ní Nàìjíríà tí wọ́n mókè
àti lókè òkun.
Ṣé ẹ dẹ̀ mọ̀ láti jẹ́ kí yẹn ṣẹlẹ̀, ó jẹ́ ohun tí àwọn tó ní wá àwọn gómìnà fọwọ́ sí, ó dẹ̀ jẹ́ ohun tí bọ́ọ̀dù àti management náà fọwọ́ sí. So à ń ṣe ètò lórí bá ṣe máa darapọ̀ mọ́ àwọn tó ń pè ní investors tí a fi di pé owó láti ṣe ìdàgbàsókè fún àwọn ilé-iṣẹ́ hòtẹ́ẹ̀lì wa tí wọ́n á fi lè kíríkì bí gbogbo àwọn ìta ń gbórúkọ lórúkọ ní
tí wọ́n ṣàfihàn pèsè iṣẹ́
tó fi jẹ́ pé ìlọsíwájú tí wọ́n bá ní tí wọ́n fi fẹ̀ sí tí yàrá pọ̀ sí tí àwọn ohun ṣíṣe tí wọ́n ń gbé wá síbẹ̀ tó pọ̀ sí òun ni ètò iṣẹ́ fi máa wà. Tó bá jẹ́ pé àwọn tí irú tá bá wo bí premier ṣe wà lẹ́nìí sìn yàrá tí a ní bẹ̀ kò tó 100 ta níbẹ̀ ṣùgbọ́n ní ètò tí à ń ṣe ní Ògo Olúwa wọ́n máa fi kún àwọn yàrá, wọ́n máa kọ́ mọ́ yàrá yẹn tó dẹ̀ máa jẹ́ pé àwọn yàrá àti gbogbo àwọn facilities tó ń pè ní conference and banqueting tó relate mọ́ tourism tó relate mọ́ relaxation points gbogbo yẹn ló máa wà ní ibẹ̀. Ó jẹ́ ohun tí àkóso bọ́ọ̀dù Odu'a àti management tí wọ́n ṣiṣẹ́ lé lórí lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ báyìí. Àǹfààní ibẹ̀ ni pé tá a bá ṣe tó tọ́ tó jẹ́ ibi tán lè fi yan ọgàn àtẹ̀yìn àtẹ̀mí náà la máa lọ máa bá wọn dá owó pọ̀.
But the way you are speaking now, will you now confirm the part of what I gathered that you are planning new businesses, absolutely new businesses? Are you also thinking of revamping old ones?
The hospitality. Let me say.
You are talking about the hospitality
yes.
industry. Most of your moribund. Are you still
okay? I would say from the board point of view and management, there's a strategy that we are pursuing.
Okay.
That strategy is a 5-year strategy. We started in 2021.
Okay.
It is tagged SRC 2025 over the next 5 years from 2021 to 2025.
What is SRC?
S there stands for what you say sweat.
Sweat.
Sweat. R stands for revive.
Okay.
And C stands for create.
Okay.
When you say sweat, which assets do you have that is underperforming? Okay. Let me give you an example. A lot of our property estates are underperforming.
Okay, I was going to talk about that.
So
too.
when you now say you want to sweat that asset, it means you now do development which are bigger and modern on it. By so doing, to be a higher value and higher returns to you. So we are in a position. We are now in a situation where we are developing with joint venture partners.
Okay.
We're developing a lot of property assets. 2 examples I can easily give in Ibadan for listeners to easily cross-check. Next to Nigerian breweries is a plot of land we've had for over 40 years at Alakia. And with partners who are Nigerians in the UK, an estate is going on there called Westlink Iconic Estates Limited. It's a 124 household units.
124.
124. And at the moment, the first phase is almost getting completed, which is 67 units of houses from duplexes to flats and apartments. Next to Nigerian breweries, this is there. And next also to the old High Court at Yagonku, which is Magistrate Court here. It's also another project we are doing with a joint venture partner, where an old colonial building is now giving way to 16 terraces.
16.
4-bedroom terraces. And that is also nearing completion. So this is like you are now reviving, you are now sweating assets that were underperforming before. That's an example of sweating. Okay. When you say revive, the hotel is a typical example of how we want to revive. We know our 2 limitations as far as hospitality is concerned. 1, they need to be world class. Okay. To be world class, you are spending good money, tons of billions of naira to turn them around, to redevelop them. So through strategic partnership, we are going ahead to make sure that we can redevelop our hotels and then also make sure that international brand for expertise comes with it. And in the process, there will be joint ownership with the investor.
Is Premier Hotel inclusive?
Premier Hotel, Lagos Airport Hotel, those are the plans that we have in terms of
to completely
reviving them.
Completely revive them.
Revive them so that they will be comparable to what you have in Sheraton and Marriott in this country.
But
and create a new ones really.
So this in essence, next question I have, I still must ask you that will you now say Odu'a investment is actually justifying reason for its existence?
Thank you. Yes, but we need to do more, and that's why that strategy is in place of
Yes,
doing more.
you need. Okay, now because our time is fast spent, and I
And
want to cover ground as much ground as possible, sir.
Let me quickly mention that. Look, you see, when you talk about creation,
Okay.
creation is that there are new sectors which are now trending that are attractive to young men,
Okay.
that they have continuous demand.
Okay.
Now, creating new businesses meant that we need to play in those sectors because they are the sector of tomorrow, where
Okay.
money is going to come tomorrow.
Okay. And
So our investment in oil and gas, for example,
I was going to talk about
comes
that.
from there. It comes from our intention to be able to earn foreign currency and to also invest internationally. So, if we're in oil and gas and we're into production with our partners, we're in a position to earn this money and invest internationally in dollars, so that money available to the business will not just be naira.
Okay.
It will be both naira and hard currency.
But how ready is this oil business? How ready is it to start fetching you dollars, sir?
Yeah. As you know, the licenses were issued this year, even though we started the process in 2020.
Okay.
We've paid the signature bonus for it fully, and we are joined with another partner. So there are two partners who are working together. So the plans on the ground is how to hit what we call first oil.
Okay.
First oil is when you're able to produce oil. It doesn't come easy. It's a technical area.
Yes.
And it doesn't consume naira also. It consumes dollars. So the technicality and then the financial side of it is what we are now packaging with our partners. The whole idea is that we do believe that in 18 months from January 2023, in 18 months from January 2023, we must be producing first oil.
You must be producing. So you want to quickly tell us what level of relationship you have with the development agenda for Western Nigeria? Because what I call my
thank you. That's Dawn Commission, as you know, also set up by shareholders. We are common shareholders. Yeah, we are Siamese twins. And we have significant collaboration.
Okay.
In fact, I'm supposed to have been at an event that they are holding on the roundtable,
International Conference Center,
healthcare roundtable today, which because of this commitment I couldn't join. Now, Dawn,
you can still join, sir, because me too, I'm going there.
Is holding at the Dawn office now, not at the International Conference Center again. It's now at the Dawn office.
Okay.
Now, I will confess to you that Dawn is set up to be the think tank to help our shareholders, the governors, formulate the right policies for the state in such a way that we can also bring about what we call alignment of policies and the benefit of policies that transcend the boundaries of states. And the relationship between us is that because we are from the same shareholder and we are focused on improving the economic well-being of the Southwest, the data and the research that Dawn is focusing on is helping us to bring about insights that we're going to work on to exploit as opportunities to go further. So we are continuously in consultation, and as shareholders take this as very, very important as foundations that can give sustainability to development in the southwest part of Nigeria.
Foundation that can give sustainability to development in the southwest of Nigeria. But I will not allow you to go. Our time is fast spent without talking to our youths, Yoruba youths especially. What pieces of advice you want to give them, sir?
It's a very challenging environment, the Japa culture as they call it. And I think what is fundamental is making sure that this society is throwing up the right role models. Picking from right role models who also themselves, people like us should critically be involved in mentoring and supporting young entrepreneurs, where wealth of knowledge should be offered to support them and guide them to ensure that I get involved in a lot of non-profit organizations advising young people on how to model business that it can sustain their profitability and also sustain their existence. So for our young Yoruba youth, I would say education is very fundamental.
One.
We should not miss it. We should, because it opens us the mind and anything can come to germinate positively on it. The second thing also I would say is that Omoluabi, as you say it, Omoluabi is extremely important, and integrity. Àwọn Yorùbá sọ pé orúkọ dáadáa ó dájú
wúrà àti
fàdákà lọ. Omoluabi is very, very important because the value it brings is not monetary and it's not bought on the shelf anywhere. It's not on display in any market. So the ethos of Omoluabi is very, very fundamental, such that whatever we are doing, with the right integrity and the right accountability mind, it meant that people who reach out that can support you will always come. And when they see those traits in you, you become a magnet that they stay with. So I would say fundamentally for youth, looking at role models who you will say have track record of Omoluabi instinct in what they do will be very, very fundamental. Thank you.
Well, I will quickly ask you this one too. What would you like to be remembered for after your years of service here at Odu'a? In one or two sentences, our time is fast spent.
Fundamentally, I would say I would want to be remembered as somebody who worked with shareholder and the board in putting Odu'a on a sound foundation into the next century.
Into the next century. Thank you very much, sir, Mr. Adewale Raji, the CEO, GMD, Group Managing Director of Odu'a Investment Limited, for being here with us on this show. On behalf of management, I thank you once again. God bless you for taking time to be with us. Victor Ayetoro, Ọ̀rẹ́wa, Oṣewo, tí wọn náà bá wa rìn. Ẹ̀yin èèyàn wa, ẹ já lọ lé o. Láńre Ọlábísí, Tìmílẹ́yìn Fáṣọ̀rọ̀, Ọláwálé Awẹ́. Ayé tí mo bí, oya, ìwọ ló lè wá kúrò ní studio báyìí. Oṣé, àdúgbò. Till next week when we come back with another fresh episode of this show. My name is still Olayinka Agbola. I'll be with you by the grace of God next week. Till then, God bless Nigeria. God bless us all.
Amen.